Jim, you ready? Taneytown Planning and Zoning Commission, please come to order. Would you stand for the pledge of the flag, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome you folks here this evening and the commission. Let the records reflect the commission members that are present. Commission members should have received the draft minutes of August 30th, 2021. Is there any corrections or additions to those minutes? If not, I'll hear a motion.
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Likewise. Chris, you can participate, but you can't vote.
Okay, fair enough.
You're in Parliament. Okay, agenda items this evening. Maryland event rental request for a site plan approval waiver for Pavilion at 5525 Taneytown Pike. Jim, would you like to lead us off, or Darrell?
Well, I'll start off by saying the public notice was posted, the required minimum 14 days. And Dominique and Jessica, are you both going to speak? Yes. Okay.
Would you like to come up and take a seat at the mic? And give us a little bit about what your plans are,
Okay,
your thoughts behind it.
great. So my name is Dominique Mouton, that's my wife Jessica. And I have a very strong accent, I'm from Belgium, so if you don't understand, please tell me, go again, and I'll repeat myself. So my wife and I, we own a rental company, a party rental company for the past 19 years, and we are located in Frederick, Maryland at this time. For the past 4 years, we've been looking into a location to do a venue for wedding as we want to expand. A lot of customers have asked us is there a location where we can have our weddings? Not just wedding, but birthday party, anniversary, and so on. So we find this great location here on the Pike, and we bought the property back in May. So our idea is to renovate the building, make it look a lot better than what it is right now, and open a mainly wedding venue, but of course welcome any other event, corporate event, whatever it is. So our plan with the building is to basically refresh the building. We want to do a couple change in the way of making a couple window a little bit bigger, adding a window to bring more light in the building, but we're not changing anything inside the existing building. What we like to do is we like to add I'm going to call it a storage. It's a pretty big storage. It's a 50 by 60 storage to store equipment for the wedding day. As a customer come in, bride and groom, because we are in the rental industry and we own equipment, we like to offer them different options. Do you want round table? Do you want rectangular table? Do you want white linens? And so on. We have dishes. So that building would be for storage. In addition, we would like to put a seasonal tent on the side of the building, which would be on the existing parking lot. The structure is a tent that's all season, 4 season, but mainly we would like to have the tent to be there just probably starting around Easter until about Halloween, Thanksgiving. The structure, the frame might stay there because it's a really, really huge structure. I mean, it's very strong, but the canvas will be removed for the winter in case of snow and things like that. There's a back building, a small, tiny building there right now that I think they used for storage in the past. And we would like to renovate that building to have it a room ready for the bride to change with a party and for the groom. So we're trying to extend that building as well, clean it up, and have, whatever they need. That's mainly what we want to do. We've already done some improvement. The parking lot has been redone. I mean, if you were to drive there, you'll see a change It's already 50%. Oh my goodness, it looks really, really good. We're gonna add some gate at the entrance to make it like a wedding venue, to make it appealing. And I think it's gonna be a big improvement, on the property, but also create a lot of job, We're gonna have event planner there, we'll have someone to maintain the property. So we have big plans, and I think it's the perfect location.
Okay, anyone have any questions? Comments? Jim?
Well, as was described in your packet, there's, I guess, the first phase is the storage building. And I can put that up on the screen here real quick. So just a pretty basic structure. It's going to be in the rear of the property, as you can see on the site plan that was also included. So that's going to be the phase one portion. And then, as Dominique was saying, the plan is to improve the space for future events and going forward. So,
Anything on parking? Do we need to be concerned about increased parking spaces?
Dominique, did your contractor say how many spots might be made available on your parking, both front and rear?
I believe at this time there's 60 space right now.
60 marked, that were marked?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. 60 mark, and there's handicap parking as well.
And that does not include the rear of the building that was unmarked?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
It's only the front.
Yeah.
so parking code requires one parking space per 3 seats for any food service type thing, and I think that's the closest to what we've got. So that would be parking for 180 seats that's already there, and I don't think the rear part of the parking lot is even marked off
Don't think
for
it's not.
parking.
That is correct,
So-
yes. So there could be
right.
additional if we need it.
So if there would be additional seats added, additional spaces could go within the existing impervious area.
What size weddings are you figuring on having?
Excuse me?
What size weddings are you,
They'll have the option. I'm going to say probably no more than 200 people, I would think, 180, 150. From experience, the wedding we do is about an average of about 150 usually. Occasionally, if it's a bigger one, it's offside. But usually it's about 150.
that's in the wintertime also?
Well, in the wintertime, there's not that many weddings. In the wintertime, we have really the inside of the venue, we're going to call it. The tent is really not an option. We want to give an option to the customer. Hey, it's a beautiful day. Do you want to do it outside in the tent? Because it's so much better with the view and everything else. But in the past, you might do some corporate event like Christmas party in December. There's usually not that many weddings from January until the beginning of April.
You're figuring on using that open venue for that in the wintertime then?
Yes, if it's possible, correct.
So the framework for that, for the tent, that's going to be standing year round, right?
Yes,
Is that metal or wood?
It's metal. It is metal. It's manufactured by a company called Fred's Tent. Actually, that tent is based on Kennett Square, where they have the Longwood Garden. If you look at the, what do you call it?
Conservancy?
Yeah, the Conservancy. The tent is actually based on that. It's a beautiful tent. Nobody's ever seen a tent like that. We saw it the first time at the show. So it's going to be really an attraction for people. Wow, I've never seen something like that as a tent.
It's called a garden tent.
Yeah, it's called a garden tent.
But I read somewhere where that wasn't going to be used in the wintertime.
I guess you put
The tent will not be used in the winter time.
Seasonal,
Correct.
from March to early November.
Correct.
You're saying all winter.
No. It's going to be in the winter. It will be inside the building. So if we have a wedding in the winter, it will have to be done inside the building that we have right now, because when the winter comes, what we want to do is we want to remove the canvas from the tent. We don't want to have any snow on it.
Is there any plans on changing the sign or adding a sign?
Yeah, there's plan. Of course, we're going to change the sign. We don't know that yet. I don't know if we're going to just cover the sign. that's something that we haven't decided yet to see what we can do with the sign, but at the time, I guess we can always, get in touch with the town. But eventually, we will have to do something about the sign because it's not the name of the venue.
Darrell, or
But Dominic, you think you're gonna stay with the same size sign though?
Yes.
just change the letters on it?
Correct.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any comments?
From looking at the plans, I thought it was very well thought out, very thorough.
Thank you.
And I'm excited about the venture that y'all are
Yeah.
undertaking.
The only thing when we come and we speak with people in town, they're asking, please open a restaurant, please open a restaurant. Everybody and we know the town is getting bigger and bigger. So who knows? Maybe one day we can have a part of it, but we gotta stick to the venue in the beginning.
Yeah, maybe Cinco de Mayo will take some pressure off of you when they open.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any comments from outside? Is anyone,
No, we don't have the phone line open since it's open to the public here tonight.
okay. So it appears that we're looking for a site plan waiver. So what's the recommendation of the commission?
Grant the waiver.
Is there a second to that motion? Okay, second by Bradley. Other discussion? Not hearing any other comments? All those in favor of granting the waiver signify by saying aye. Those opposed, likewise, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman, that is your, you made the motion.
Bradley, second.
See y'all. Take care.
Have a good night, y'all.
It's good to see a change here.
I can email that to you. I just have one.
Their stuff was really nice.
They haven't, the company is Maryland Event
It was a really
Rentals.
nice proposal.
I don't think they've
Okay,
come
next
up with a
item.
name for the venue yet.
Reviewing pending
Didn't really
zoning
discuss
board
it.
appeal cases. Case number 2021-214, 34 Gaines Mills Circle, variance for a deck permit. Darrell, you want to lead us on that?
Well, the owners of 34 Gaines Mill Circle, that lot is really challenged. It's uphill slope in the back. It's short, it's an odd sized lot. They don't have much room for a deck without a variance. So that's, I mean, it's a pretty good example of why you'd ask for a variance.
I visited, it's an unusual lot.
The stakes in the ground, they represent the backyard, true? Like, because that upslope, that's public, that's a part of the walking trail?
That is, it leads right to the edge of the parking trail. So I don't,
That's considered their yard, almost touching the asphalt?
that uphill from what I understand is theirs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not fun.
Interesting, because like the sod laid out was about maybe 6 or 7 feet short of the blacktop, and there were stakes, and I just didn't know if that was the property line, because otherwise it'd be like 24 feet off their back sliding door entrance.
Yeah.
You're just looking for a recommendation for the appeals board.
Recommendation to give the appeals board, and also want to ask if there's anyone here who would have a conflict of interest in making these decisions.
Not yet.
No. And I would be thumbs up for making a positive recommendation for the deck.
Okay, so you're making
I
that a motion?
second it.
And I'll be second. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the recommendation to grant the appeal, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Likewise. Remember, Chris, you can't vote.
Do I need to sit over there, or am I good?
You will when we start yours.
Okay.
Now you can ask that question again. I got a problem with the
You got
next
a
one.
problem? You got a problem?
Next item, case number 2021-215, 1 Broad Street. Variance and special exception for an e-sport arena. Chris, if you would.
I heard today, though, this is
Just
not like
hold on a minute.
games are not
Hold on a minute. We need Chris to leave the,
What's that?
Chris needs to move down there
Yeah.
because he's got a conflict of interest.
So do I.
Well, if you do, then you can't have input on it. Then you shouldn't have input if you have,
I'm only asking a question.
okay. Okay, I'll allow the question, but not the vote.
I heard today it's not actually games, it's just online stuff. Am I right or am I
It's
wrong
not,
on that?
it is not games in the sense that it like blackjack, stuff like that. No, it's esports, which are video games, Call of Duty, Fortnite. Not sure if any of you guys are familiar with any of those. I'm trying to think of older examples. Atari.
That's back to our time.
Again, I'm not familiar with some of the older type games, but those are just some of the newer ones that are more popular these days. But it is not like a betting center or sports.
What's
in
the
that sense.
hours?
Sorry, say that again?
What would be the hours?
10 to 10 is currently what we're
What
looking
is
at.
it?
10 to 10, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Chairman Parker,
Yes,
we'd just like to ask the city attorney about Ollie.
yes. Jay, you on?
I'm here, yes. What is Ollie's concern about a conflict?
He
I
is,
own 3 pieces of property across the way. Should
But
I
you
go
don't
over
own-
there? Huh?
But you don't own the property that it's going to be located in,
No,
and you don't have a financial interest in the
I
business.
have no financial.
Then you don't have a conflict.
Okay,
Now, you can still recuse yourself if you want, but you don't have a conflict under the code because you have no financial interest in it, even though you're a neighbor. That's not a conflict.
that's what you told me once before, so.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Jay. Tell us about how many people you plan on seating in there and exactly what's happening in there?
Sorry, this
I
is
mean,
my.
are we competing against each other in there, or are we online?
You'll be competing against each other and versus people at other gaming esports centers across the nation. Essentially, there's about 1,100 centers that they're all connected through a system, and you'll be competing against them for prizes, essentially like keyboards, mouses, monitors, stuff like that. That means there's monetary prizes in the sense that you can win a tournament in Fortnite and win $50,000. That is a prize pool between the 1,100 centers. But it is not gambling or anything in that sense. We'll be seating about 30 people initially. We're looking to expand to about 50 systems total. We will also be entertaining different things such as tabletop board games, trading card games. And by trading card games, I don't mean any kind of gambling games again. They're, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. They're all pretty popular trading card games these days, and people are looking for a venue to take part in those kind of games.
I'm still on Pac-Man.
The older days, the older days.
So, Mr. Hale, our focus is mainly just the parking issue, right?
well, it's 2 points, actually. The building right now is zoned general business. And Jim, the point on that would be the fact that,
So the video game aspect is a special exception within the general business district. So that's why this would have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
But
It-
it's
it's-
residential on the opposite side of the street, yes?
I'm sorry?
It's residential on the other side of the street.
Correct.
And people
Broad
work
Street,
on the other side of the street. So we
Broad
got,
Street is
you don't
right.
know at 10 o'clock at night.
And the Board of Appeals would have the ability to, I believe, to limit hours as part of that special exception process. So that's where I think the neighborhood input would probably come into play. You know, the applicant needs to meet the criteria for the special exception, but there is some flexibility, some authority that the board has to, you know, provide some limits to it in a situation like that. So if that's a concern, that would be something to be discussed at that hearing. But getting back to the broader picture, this would be a change of use for the site, and that's one of the things that triggers a site development plan. We're not here this evening to specifically discuss that, but part of the application is also seeking a waiver of parking requirements. So based on the closest thing in the code, in the parking regulations, the existing parking lot, if you go by the per seat requirement, the existing parking lot has capacity to accommodate the required parking. If you go by the square footage, because the code says either one space per, and unfortunately, I shut my computer down before I had the code up on my screen, but it's like one space per 3 seats, or one space per so many square feet. So if you look at because this is a big space that's being leased, if you look at the square footage, the parking requirements go way up as compared to when you look at it based on the seats. So the hearing request is also seeking a variance to keep the parking at the per seat criteria, which they can meet without any additional parking requirements, just based on how many spaces can be accommodated with the existing blacktopped area.
And we're located in a pretty prime location as far as the town goes to actually walk to the venue, which is where we're going to be seeing the majority of our traffic. I don't suspect us to be packed with vehicles. I mean, again, that's partly why we chose the location that we did, in that it is in walking distance of most of the neighborhoods in Taneytown. As far as noise goes, everything's held inside. I don't see any reason why there would be any real loud outside noise. There's no loitering around the building. There's no activities that take place outside of the building. You're inside playing video games with a headset on.
We're talking about the Borstein building, right? The old soda factory
Yeah.
building, right?
Yeah.
So that's labeled section 1, 1A, and 1B. Are you taking the whole building?
No.
Or just one?
I'm taking 6,600 square feet.
6,600 square feet.
You-
Okay.
How many businesses there now? You would be one, there's another
Me
one.
and Johnson's Plumbing.
Okay.
And then there's a free space in the middle right now that they're working on that is going to eventually be leased in the
Okay,
future.
that's where they were making the pallets, right?
The one that I'm currently in is where they were making the pallets. It has been completely redone inside, and we actually just spent this last weekend repainting the interior floors and it looks pretty immaculate right now.
Okay. I don't think there's any parking spots marked. Are you planning on designating the parking areas?
We've talked with our landlords, and they're actually going to be marking the parking spaces this October.
Okay, and then how many do we have to have for ADA? And is that available? Is your building ADA?
It is ADA compliant.
I will have to defer to the county on that one.
Okay.
Don't have the spec in front of me.
And we've been looking for a venue for months as far as it comes to Taneytown. If you go to Taneytown neighborhood, you'll see multiple posts made by me and my wife about actually looking for a spot that would be able to accommodate us. We've looked through everything on Main Street, nothing met our electrical needs, and if we're talking parking, nothing on Main Street really meets parking needs as well. We've looked at the basement and banks, it's not ADA compliant in the sense that we could use it for that. This is the most ADA compliant spot that we could find that also met our square footage and electrical needs to actually host this venue. And again, we have done a lot of searching through the town and trying to find a place to get this done.
What about lighting, outside lighting?
Outside lighting, it has one floodlight at the door to come in the main entrance, and then one over by a garage door that opens up. That is basically our ramp for ADA compliance.
The outside lighting isn't bad. That's
Okay.
not the problem.
Okay.
The problem is the parking there already on the other side of the street.
My thoughts on this when I read it would be, and I couldn't help but think about the discussion boards for Taneytown and thinking about youth and opportunities for youth to do this, that, and the other, what activities are there. And so I would think this would cater to probably 11 to maybe 19. I mean, sorry if I'm out of the, flux for that, but we're looking at a lot of people that aren't driving. And if parents, I mean, I would think parents might drop off if, let's say, it's, a rainy day or something, but this would not be like a theater, like the presidential, where it's in the middle of nowhere and you need to drive up there. It seems like this would be a great opportunity for youth to have a place of interest with a variety of games, and I think there would be, like Mr. Miller said, a lot of walking or drop-offs.
What are you doing as far as a sign or advertisement?
Currently, we're still looking at signage. It is behind, it's behind the subway, so it's a little bit off from the road. So as far as signage goes, it's a little bit hard to get proper signage to where it is viewable from the street. Essentially, we're going to put a logo above our main door, and that's going to be the majority of our signage. Advertisement, we've looked into Facebook advertisement, stuff like that. We're advertising as much as we can locally through the Facebook pages, and we've already seen interest there. We have paid advertisements that are running, and I'm not thinking we're going to need any large sign to really show where we're at. I think the best bet is if somebody's looking to find us, they're going to find us.
Any other comments?
The ADA parking space, it looks like the percent is 2% of total, so the example would be 300 to 400 spaces would be 8 spaces. So if we're looking at 30, I would say a minimum of 2, just in case you have 2 people, but that's still way more than 2% of the total.
And we can definitely meet that requirement.
Okay, any other comments? Any comments from Jay?
Nothing from me, Mr. Chairman. The BZA will be taking it up. I don't know the exact hearing date, but I think it's in November because we have a shortage of members.
Okay, thank you. All right, so what's the wishes of the commission?
Are you asking for a motion, or you're just going for the appeals board here again?
I'm going for a recommendation, not a motion, but a recommendation to the appeals board.
I would provide a favorable recommendation to the BZA.
I'll second that. And any further discussion? All those in favor of that recommendation signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Okay, motion carried. Let the records reflect the result of the voting.
Ollie, was that a no?
Ollie said no. Okay, good luck with it.
Mr. Chairman, is there another piece of that Mr. Weeprick talked about, Mr. Hale talked about for a waiver of a site plan or a change of use?
That'll be at a future meeting because we didn't post the site to request that this will be on the agenda tonight for a waiver of site plan process.
Right. And I think that one of the things we may want to talk about is how that links with the hearing with the BZA. Does it need to happen before or after that? So we'll take care of that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Ordinance and agreements, there isn't any planning report. Darrell, you want to go over your report, things we haven't covered yet?
Sure, Mr. Chairman, pretty much as we go through and I send you all my planning commission report, a lot of that's going to be handled through the meeting as stuff comes in for the previous few weeks. But having said that, the number of us were going to attend the Maryland Planning Commission Association Conference that was canceled. It's going to be now online. It's free of charge. There's something beneficial for everybody. I mean, maybe Jim may participate and not gain a whole lot, but I know I will. So it's, again, it's free of charge. More information as it comes out, I will email all of you, let you know about that.
Are they doing training online during that time?
Yep. It's 2 days of, well, it should be 2 days of just continuous classes, seminars, that type of thing. So it's pretty neat stuff you learn from that. So again, it saves the city a good bit of money, but you lose that networking part of this. And Cinco de Mayo has applied for their permit. They are a real thing within the eyes of the city. I put two attachments in your folders. One's a very small facade change, very small. And then and it is going to have a bar area. And you see from the seating on the second picture I sent you, it's about the same quantity of seats as Grandma Jenny's. Yeah, pretty exciting. And that's about all I have. Anything else?
On that, then let's just talk about moving our regular date in October back to October 25th.
Okay.
If that's suitable with everyone. Agreed?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then that's the way it will be. Next meeting will be October 25th. Okay, you want to go right on into the projects then, Carroll? Maybe we s-
Or anything?
Yeah. Jim, I don't have any great activity on any of the projects.
Yeah, not a whole lot of news on the active project topic. As you'll see in your packet, there were a few more comment letters that have been received for both Meadowbrook 7 and Duffy. And one update we do have on the Bollinger Park site plan, our engineer, director of Parks and Rec, and myself had an online meeting and reviewed some of CDM Smith's recent work on the plan. So we're hoping that the submission to the county is going to be relatively soon. They've made some updates based on floodplain comments, and the engineer is going to be touching base with the floodplain reviewer at the county to see if there are some low-lying areas that are going to be spanned by a boardwalk, and depending upon what the floodplain reviewer has to say about that, those boardwalks may become more of a bridge-type structure. So we're hoping not, but that's kind of going to drive how long the boardwalk sections of the trail have to be. So once we get that feedback from the county floodplain review, we'll formally submit it to the county for it to go to all the different review agencies. So a little bit of progress there. It is taking some time, but we've kept CDM Smith busy with a lot of wastewater and stormwater projects. So Bollinger Park has been sort of put on the back burner because of those other more urgent projects. But that was some good news. It is moving forward, slowly, but it is moving. Other than that, it's been relatively quiet on the site division and site plan projects.
And we did sign the final subdivision for Meadowbrook Section 7, so that's taken care of, right?
We approved it, and the plats have been received, and along with the construction drawings, and they're still under review. So we'll let you know when the Mylar plats are ready for signature. But at this point, the commission has already given that conditional approval.
Got a question, if I might ask. Question about the August 27th letter to you, Jim, from David Beecraft, Bureau of Development Review. That's regarding the FP Duffy Incorporated. I'm just wondering, so those items that they listed, like one, provide an existing conditions drawing. So all those are requirements to address? And is that by collaboration between the town and Duffy? Or is that on Duffy?
That will be up to the FP Duffy's engineer to address those comments.
Okay.
If we disagree with comments from the county, we can have that conversation with them, and ultimately, you guys have the approval authority, but we do like to generally try to play nice with all our counterparts at the county.
Okay.
So unless there's something that we think is not appropriate on the county comments, we usually support them and do ask the developer's engineer to address them.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, move on to the legal update. Jay, please.
Well, good evening, everybody. The only update I wanted to give you is on the Sewell annexation. As you know, we had negotiated an annexation agreement with them. The city council agreed to it, but it has not been finalized. The Sewells, and of course, there's lots of different partners involved, are concerned about some of the language and would like some additional language included. So the reason you haven't seen that move forward is it's stalled right now while we wait for what language they may want included and whether that's something we can do or not do. So this sets us back, several months at least by the time we figure this out and hammer it out. So that's why you haven't seen that pop up on your radar. And that's all I wanted to update you on.
Okay, thank you. County update. Looks like we've got a new county planning liaison.
Good evening. Yes, I am new. Hi, glad to be here this evening. I will start with the county's comprehensive rezoning. Last week, the County Planning and Zoning Commission did vote to forward proposed amendments regarding residential development, as well as 2 rezoning requests to the Board of County Commissioners for their review. So the BCC will be holding work sessions to discuss the proposed amendments, and will also be holding a public hearing to solicit input. And the dates of those sessions, as well as the proposed amendments, can be found on our website. Transportation Master Plan Survey 2 is nearly complete. We hope to have that up October 1st and keep it open all through the month of October and available on the county planning website as well. And, oh, did you have something to say? No? Okay, and we have just a couple more. The county is also beginning the process for the triennial update to the 2019 Carroll County Water and Sewer Master Plan, and we'll be setting up a meeting with city staff in the near future to review current city chapters and maps and go over those. And just one last note, and that's that since the county's planning commission meetings are now in hybrid status, we're asking that all public comment be set up ahead of time by filling out a form and submitting it on our website, on the county website as well. And that's everything I have. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again. Okay, other business, we'll go around. Chris? Lee?
Nothing.
Ollie? Jim? Anyone else? Okay, not hearing any other business. Like I say, the next meeting will be October 25th. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion by Ollie.
Second.
Second by Lee. All those in favor of that motion signify by saying aye. Opposed, likewise, carried. Thank you, gentlemen.